Good morning, and welcome to Healing Life Fellowship Church. We are a spiritualist church that strives to understand and comply with the physical, mental, and spiritual laws of nature, which are the laws of God. I'm Reverend Lydia Janacek. I hope you all enjoyed the 4th and the fireworks and the family get-togethers. The 4th of July was always a holiday that my family has celebrated. Designation of the 4th of July is a reminder of the sacrifices made by those who have defended the nation's freedom from American Revolution to the present day. I have 2 uncles that served in World War II, one in the Army as a foot soldier, and he was a sergeant of his unit, and one in the Navy. My dad was in the Army in the Korean conflict, and my husband was in Vietnam and was a Navy SEAL, serving for our country for 5 years. At this time, I'd like to say thank you to all those men and women who have so courageously stood for our freedom, and those heroes that gave their lives. As we celebrated the 4th this past week, and even still this weekend, we need to remember what freedom we have. Freedom of speech, and the right to choose our religion, and the right to pursue happiness. The ability to shape our own desires and destinies to live our own journeys. With that said, how many of us try to help others to the point of enabling or not allowing them to make their own choices? Whether it's our children, spouse, friends, or extended family, most of us have done this a time or two. I'm a big enabler. I try and fix and help people all the time. I have to ask myself on a daily basis, is this my lesson? Or am I stopping the person I'm trying to help from getting their lesson? Do I need to let them be, for it's their journey? After all, we have the freedom to make our own choices. In life, when we see our young children making choices that can harm them, for example, putting their hands in a fire, of course, we stop them. That is our responsibility as their parents, not to let them get hurt. When our loved ones are making choices as adults, that is different. We can offer advice, but respectfully understand if they don't want to listen or being open to it, even when we have lived the choice they're making and we know it's not a healthy choice, and we know it won't work. Some need to walk their own path to discover the lesson so that they truly get it. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we were able to stop others from having some of the same uncomfortable experiences that we may have made in the past? Wouldn't that be grand? Unfortunately, that isn't life. We all have the freedom to choose our paths and lessons, and we have to remember there are no mistakes, just lessons. Looking back on your life experiences, I bet you will find amazing patterns that emerged. Connections and synchronicities are almost always there. One of our daughters literally needed to move recently. She has a dog, and within a week and a half, she found a place with a fenced-in yard right by her place of business within her budget. Right away, I was in my head trying to solve her problem. When it first came up, I thought, how can we fix this? Our middle daughter said, Mom, she will figure it out. Give her time. Sometimes we have to understand when things aren't going the way we think they should, or someone is doing something that we don't agree with. It may not be just their lesson. The lesson can be a dual lesson for both of us. Maybe you're supposed to step back. After all, everyone has been given free will, and what they're doing may be right for them at the time. The lessons get harder and closer to home as we grow spiritually. None of us get to escape the lessons. Whether we can spot them in the moment or not is the question. This is a universe where there are no accidents. Everything happens when it is supposed to. All lessons teach us what we ask for in our contract before coming here on earth, or they have been placed before us because we need to learn something from the lesson. How we choose to react to the lessons are choices that either bring us, our soul, closer to the higher spiritual life or farther away. We have the freedom to stay angry, frustrated, mad, disappointed, and want to control the situation. Or we can look at how we feel about what the lesson presented in front of us and choose to accept the situation, look at our own feelings, meditate, and ask questions to your guides to see the bigger picture. That would be using the freedom of your mind and to allow yourself to surrender to a higher power and trusting that it is taking care of things. Some say that being controlling in one's spiritual life can prevent spiritual growth, as the soul needs space to be present in the moment. We need to accept ourselves and others as they are. Authentic freedom is actually the freedom of knowing who you are, why you are here, your purpose in life, and where you are going. We have the power to decide how we respond to every situation. We can choose positively or negatively, light over darkness, happiness over sadness. Our response is entirely ours. When we were making our contracts before we reincarnated in this life, we set up a series of things we needed to learn. Then we are born, and we get a series of choices and different lessons. Some are easy, some are harder, but every choice is ours to make because we have the free will. Right now, this morning, you had a choice to stay in bed or to be sitting in these chairs. You have the power to choose everything that is presented to you. How you will react, that is our freedom. We can choose to breathe in hope or let fear take hold, become rooted in us. You can choose to reach for the stars or stay in the thought pattern of the poor me. We can embrace happiness and joy, or let the depression, sadness take us over. Make a choice to let your heart open up to love and love yourself. Remember, every moment we are given here is precious time. Life is short. It goes by in a blink of a moment. And we have been given freedom of speech. Choose your words wisely. They can be very hurtful or very loving. Freedom to make choices every moment is a chance to begin again. To be your truest self every day is a new day. It's given to us to make things right if you have made things wrong. Say you're sorry. Own your responsibility in a situation, or accept the apologies given. Move on. You have the power to choose what happens next, so choose wisely. Choose love. Choose to take the higher road towards spirit. Every choice leads to a consequence that leads you closer to spiritual freedom or farther away. It's your choice. Our spiritual freedom can be as simple as connecting with our purpose, which can be done by reflecting on your values, passions, and aspirations to uncover what truly will bring us closer to the Holy Spirit. As we seek universal goodness, kindness, and love, we also give those things. Our soul becomes more enlightened, and we feel spiritual freedom. When we decided to try new things and not be stuck in our normal routine and try a less traveled path that we're maybe not 100% comfortable with, we release ourselves and set ourselves free to try something new that can be freeing. Sometimes we make excuses and put obstacles up. We have fear, which keeps us in depression, so we don't have the freedom to grow. We need to adopt a philosophy of having an open mind to everything and to understand love, joy, and laughter. Laughter is truly what our soul needs. Think about laughter and how it changes the entire energy of a room. Love and joy lifts our burdens so we get strength from feeling happy, like we can conquer more in a day, as if the weight has been lifted from us. When we feel we have love surrounding us, we feel like we can get through anything. We feel the love coming at us. Remember, God is with us and in us. That is spiritual freedom we just seem to forget when we choose to let the everyday stuff get in the way. Spiritual freedom is being able to find inner peace, happiness, and contentment, independent of external circumstances. It is achieved when we as individuals have developed a strong connection with our true self, cultivated mindfulness and awareness, and we learn to trust our intuition. Ultimately, anything that encourages or forces us to look at our life from a more spiritual perspective can set you on a path towards spiritual freedom. Our dreams are more vivid to us when we do this. The meanings of our dreams and how they connect to our journey may become more apparent as well. Our relationships begin to shift. There can be no doubt that people in our lives won't always be able to appreciate that. You may feel like your loved ones don't understand you anymore because you are changing. You feel spirituality has become an important part of your life. It will be hard to ignore the call from your spiritual side as you go through this process. The desire to find meaning and fulfillment within our spirituality will likely become one of our biggest priorities, buried beneath the layers of our ego. And then we will find the freedom. We will feel much more in tune with ourselves. With spiritual freedom, we realize everyone is on their own path. As we figure out our own spiritual path, we also become more accepting of the others being on their own unique path. Things like winning arguments or convincing people of our views don't much matter anymore. We want to be of service. As we begin to realize that every living thing is inherently worthy and equal, we're called to be of service, whether to people, to animals, or to the environment. It's important to us that we have a cause we can get behind or to make our life feel purposeful in. It may not be about changing our current jobs or our roles in life, but just approaching what we're already doing with a deeper sense of service. We can feel alone because figuring out our spiritual freedom is not always easy. And while we're reaching for enlightenment, it's isolating to have our whole life flipped upside down, especially if the other people in our lives aren't quite on the same path. As we grow spiritually, our habits transform. We make it a priority to spend time in nature and meditate. We remove things that no longer serve us and people. We have an increased empathy as we begin feeling more connected to the world around us. We also have increased empathy regarding the suffering of others. We have a newfound curiosity, and lastly, we know that we have found freedom within us. Thank you.